Hello teachers, coaches, parents, and students. Today, standing upon you is just a regular Asian boy. But not just any ordinary boy, but one who has big dreams. But what are those dreams, you may ask? Before I tell you that, I will need to tell you a little bit about myself. So we're going to have to go back in time to find out. But wait, you don't even know my name yet. My name is Fu, but you can call me Dr. Fu. Remember it? Because I might be your doctor in the future. So first off, why am I here? With the opportunity of TEDx, I want to spread a very important message to everyone. And I'm doing so by telling you a story about my life and the difficulty I had to go through in order to be where I am today. Now, let's start from the very beginning. Back when I was just a little boy, 7 years old to be exact, I remember leaving my hometown, my country, to go and live in a foreign place. I cried a lot. I cried my lungs out because I realized I've just been tricked by my parents to step onto that plane. I thought that I'll never be able to see my family again. And as you know, kids, especially at that age, tend to be very immature because their brains hadn't really hit that point of maturity yet. Therefore, they were quite rebellious. And that was exactly me. I fought back and didn't want to go. Oh, it's because at that time, I didn't really understand my parents' intentions yet. All they wanted to do was to give me the best life possible. A life that was better than theirs. Hence, they had to make the utmost sacrifice. They only had one thing on their mind, and that was to give me the best education there was. But in order to do so, they had to sacrifice everything they had in Vietnam to move to a foreign country, to start a new life where there are better education and greater opportunities. And that place is no other than America, or known as the land of opportunity. When I first arrived in America and stepped foot out of that airport, the place where everyone dreamed of being able to come, my initial reaction was, oh my God, it's freezing here. Well, it's because in Asian countries such as Vietnam, it is hot there all year long. No, my actual reaction was, wow, everything is so different. The buildings, the cars, the environment, and the people, everything is just so different. I was shocked, not from the cold, of course, but the fact that this is going to be a start of a new journey, the journey of my life. So when I got here, life was very difficult for me because I did not know a single word of English. Communication was simply the hardest obstacle for me since no one would understand what I was trying to say. The language barrier was huge. Just imagining learning a whole different language from scratch. It was definitely not easy. In fact, it went to the point that people even made fun of me because of my accent and the way I talked every time I tried to speak. And that made me very quiet, and I didn't have any friends at all. Though it was very lonely at the time, of course that didn't stop me from trying. Trying to do what? To fit in. It became a source of motivation that made me stronger. Those words motivated me to study harder, to learn English, so that I could finally fit in with the crowd. But then life hits you with something unexpected. While trying to prove those people wrong, I went down the wrong path myself. I started misbehaving because now I can talk proper English. Therefore, I will always be talking and messing around during class. You know the typical class clown? Yeah, that was me. I remember back in elementary school, I would literally get sent to the office every single day. Well, I didn't do anything that I would consider to be extremely bad or immoral because I still have moral. So things such as bullying is definitely a no. But I just talked like crazy and was very immature with my newfound confidence. And that made me very famous, and I made lots of friends. The irony, right? While I gained everyone's liking, I lost something that would be even more important. My education. My grades started to plummet like crazy. Why? Well, it's because instead of being in class and studying like a normal person, I would spend all of my time in the office. Just imagining going to school just to be sent to the office and not getting to learn anything. Well, that was one subject that I was good at. Math. Math was pretty easy, so I was able to do a really good job in that subject without literally not attending class. You see how it went from wanting to find a way to fit in and to prove those people wrong to becoming an absolutely different person? I did it. I made people like me. I changed, but not in a good way. Fast forward to 5th grade. That behavior of mine kept up for almost 2 years until I hit 5th grade. At the end of 5th grade was when something happened to me that would change my life forever. Well, I had this book report, right? And you had to read a book and make a presentation on it. I got the book and then started reading it. But I realized I didn't understand a single thing. I literally had to translate down every single word of the book. It was dreadful, and it took me ages just to finish reading one page. And there, I still have a whole book to finish. And that's only the first of many difficulties to come. And then more and more assignments came, and I realized how difficult they were. I couldn't even finish the assignments on my own. And what made it worse was that I had no one to help me. My parents couldn't help me because they were too busy working in order to support our lives. Now you see how all those years wasted have affected me? Until one day, I actually sat down and think. I thought a lot about my future. And I remember this very well because this was what changed my life forever. You know how sometimes you just sit down and think? You think a lot and it gets really deep, right? All those trains of thought suddenly attacking you, pressuring you to do better. That was what happened to me. I thought about why I was given the chance to come to America in the first place. And if I keep up this behavior or just give up now, then all those efforts by my parents would just be a waste. Many people from around the world, especially from Asian countries, dream of being able to come to America to obtain that American dream. But they couldn't, while I'm over here wasting all of the chances that was given to me. This was when I came to my senses and decided to become more mature. I told myself that if I don't stop with this behavior or just give up now, then I will have no future. And my life would just not be a waste to me, but to my parents as well. So basically, I started to study really hard. By that, I mean really, really hard. Because of the language barrier that greatly affected me, I would spend hours just studying while other people can easily finish their work. And that's when my true mentality kicked in. Let me tell you about the mentality. My mentality, the Asian mentality. The majority of us Asian coming from another country all have that one mentality, which is to study hard in order to obtain a better life. But what does studying hard truly means? Just one word. No, 3 words. Not giving up or never giving up, no matter how hard things get. As the case for me, it has always been my moral and mentality, but it was just lost somewhere inside of me. This was when I found it. And while other people study 1, I studied 10. I had to study 10 times harder. And then 6th grade came. English, history, science started to get really hard, especially the English part of it. Oh wait, all those subjects have English in them. So yeah, I struggled with all those subjects. Until one day, I would meet the person that would change my life forever. Her name is Becky Blank, and she was one of my dad's friends and client. She noticed that I was struggling and offered to help. Out of the kindness of her heart, she offered to tutor me every day after school. So after school, I would go to her house and she would tutor me for an hour to 2, depending on the day. Well, we started off with the easy stuff, but I still struggle. So we had to start from the very beginning. Day by day, she guided me into a working machine, a machine that is invincible and never quits. She made me fall in love with learning even more. And because of her, I was starting to do really good in school. I felt really happy because to have somebody who you can trust, depend on, and who believes in you is such a great feeling. And since I'm the first generation in my family to go to school in the US, there really wasn't anyone who could have helped or guided me. Therefore, to have somebody like her in my life, it meant a lot to me. Well, she helped tutor me from 6th grade all the way until when COVID-19 struck at the very end of my 7th grade year. Though it seemed like a very short time, it played a very important part in my life because it shapes who I am today. You know how sometimes you have that one person who plays a very important role in your life? Well, she's mine. She has not only taught me English lessons, but many life lessons as well. What meant even more to me was the fact that even though she was extremely busy, she still tried to help me with the little time she has in her busy schedule. She literally picked me up from the dead. They say superheroes don't wear a cape. Well, she's my hero. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If it wasn't for her, then there won't be a me standing on this stage today. I would have gone in a totally different path. Probably not a good one. Who knows? That being said, I am extremely grateful for everything she has done for me, and I will forever remember it deep inside my heart. Although working hard is great, another thing you should take into consideration is time management. Have you ever had so many assignments that you had to complete all at the same time because you procrastinated to the very last minute, thinking that was going to be easy? But then when you actually go and work on those assignments, they are in fact not as easy as you thought. So that's when the stress starts to kick in. So you have to activate 100% of your brain power and try your hardest to finish all of those assignments on time. But when you actually finish all of those assignments, it is just amazing. Do you know what feeling that is? Relief. I know you all understand that feeling very well because I do. But since we all tend to fall into this trap of time management, this cycle keeps on repeating over and over again for a long period of time. And eventually, you're just physically and mentally drained. I was never good at managing my time, but I wasn't horrible. I would always put myself on the edge of that cliff, cutting everything so close. I would, however, finish all of my work, but I could never feel that satisfaction that you get finishing things without stress. Think of it this way. Time is money. No, time is more than money. I remember a stranger once told me that if you were given $86,400 every single day and that you would have to spend it all before the next day or else they will all be gone, then you would obviously try your hardest to spend all of that money knowing that each day you will be given the same amount, right? So why is money more important than time? There are also 86,400 seconds in a day. And people value money over time. To me, money can be made again. But time, once it's gone, it will never come back. From this important message, I learned the importance of time. And I try not to waste any of those precious time that was given to me. Because as an aspiring doctor, if I don't learn how to manage my time now, then I won't be able to develop that mindset that would help me in the future. And it's going to be hell of a road when I'm older. Now, to finish things up, the message I want to convey to you all is just to be yourself. You don't always have to follow the crowd, but be unique. Just know that you are not limited. Limitations are only in our heads. But if you learn to adapt to your limitations, then you'll be unstoppable. And that was exactly what I did. My limitation was the language barrier, and I overcame it. Not completely, but definitely better than where I used to be. Secondly, I want you all to understand something. You're living in a country that is considered to be top-notch. So take full advantage of that opportunity that is given to you. It's literally free. Because many people from around the world would give anything just to be you, to have that opportunity. It's all about the mentality of how you think and how you act. It's all about the mind game, really. Sometimes you don't always have to stay in that safe zone. Don't put that tag on yourself that limits what you can do. As long as you're willing to do it and how bad you want it, I believe that you can achieve anything. Just like the Asian mentality of mine that dragged me through countless difficulties. After all, it's the little things in life that make a difference. I am not embarrassed to tell you about my past. In fact, it is who I am and how I grew. There's really nothing to be embarrassed about it, because as long as you can learn from your mistakes and grow from them, then that story of yours would be even more memorable. If none of this had happened to me, then I wouldn't be here today. Everything happened in my life happened for a reason. And as I'm changing, there's still many things I still need to work on. Last but not least, this speech is not about me, but it's about all the people who has helped me on the way for me to achieve all the things I have so far. As I'm standing on this stage today, none of this would have been possible without your support. And I appreciate each and every single person who has helped me on my journey. And that's the end of my story. Thank you, everyone, for listening.